Do you ever feel like the week gets away from you before it even starts? You're not alone, trust me. It is common, but that's what we're here to talk about today. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I plan my week and how I maintain clarity and focus throughout the week, because otherwise, it's often that you just feel like you're fighting fires, that you're constantly getting bombarded with new things, new tasks, and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to prioritize. So this video is for you. I truly used to go into the week reacting to everything. It was so easy to just let the week come to me rather than attack the week. I know that sounds wild, but there is something about laying down the plans and the foundation, even if things don't go to plan, because they often don't. I don't know if any of my weeks have ever gone exactly to plan. There are things we are in control of, there are things we are out of control of. What we want to do is make sure that we control the things that we can control. And the first thing we can do in order to have control of our week is plan our week. So what I do is I sit down on a Sunday night, I look at my calendar for the week, and I just get in the headspace of this is what my week looks like. Oftentimes, I will even take what's in my digital calendar and I will write it down so that I am thinking about it and remembering it. It's easier to remember in that case. However, at the same time, because of technology, we don't always have to remember what is going on in our calendar every day. It's just a great way to gain clarity on your week. Now, the next thing I do, and this is probably the most important thing that I do, I sit down and I brain dump every single thought that is a to-do or even an idea for the week. I brain dump it by hand writing it down. Again, this is a slower way of doing things. I want to slow down my life so I can sit and truly think. I don't want to just operate like a robot. I don't want to be bombarded by things. I literally just want to create space so that I can think and brain dump. Now, the goal of this is to get everything out of my head and to stop worrying and stressing about all those things that I might not be able to control anyway. This is a great way to just focus in on all the thoughts. Now, with brain dumping, sometimes it's so easy to not write down everything because you're like, oh, I've got that one sorted, or I've got that in my to-do list already. I'm telling you, just dump it all out there and then you can sort through it later. So this is just step one of the process. The next thing I do, again, to plan the week ahead is I look at that brain dump list and I start to sort things out by, okay, what days should I work on each thing? Also, does it even need to get done this week? A lot of things can wait till next week. Or in a lot of cases, to be honest, it can wait till next month, or it's not even important. It just happened to pop into my head. So this is a great way to prioritize by saying Monday is going to be a day for me to create content. It's going to be a day for me to focus on this one thing. Tuesday, however, is going to be me focusing on something else. And I will categorize my list of to-dos for Tuesday. They all flow together in most cases. Now, sometimes there are days that are just sporadic. So maybe Wednesday this week is going to be a bit sporadic and I've just got a lot of small tasks to do. And that is okay too. Ultimately, right now, it's not the day-to-day stuff that matters at this point in the planning process. You're just trying to get things out of your head. You're trying to get things on paper, and you're trying to gain clarity. That's what planning does. It helps us feel clear about what's ahead. It also, in a funny way, it helps us feel more in control of all the things that we can't control. But it's a great way to just feel better. Trust me, it does work. This sounds so simple. It sounds kind of silly that I'm making a video about all this, but this simple act can truly dictate how your week goes. And if it doesn't dictate your week, it at least dictates how you feel about your week going into it. Now, beyond brain dumping and beyond planning your week, I think it's really important to have goals for the week. One thing I am learning and trying to focus on is what does it look like to just have one goal for the week instead of 2 to 3 or even 1 to 2 per day, what's it look like to, again, slow down and allow yourself to focus on one thing that matters? At the end of the day, time is flying by and it's going to be next week before you know it. So if you have a list of goals, if you focus on one this week, that's okay because next week you can focus on another one and it's going to be here before you know it. But the good news is, if you focus on one thing, you're probably going to get it done. So that doesn't mean that you're not going to have a lot of other tasks that fall outside of that goal. That is just a reality of life and of work and being a student, whatever it may be. But if you just have one goal, there is a good chance that you're going to get that goal done. So what I would do is I would go ahead and write yourself down what your goal is for the week. Now, from a daily perspective, it's so important to stay focused. So again, don't overload your day with tasks. Maybe choose 5 things. And sometimes you can group really small tasks into categories. If it's going to take you less than 5 minutes, it can be like, go through emails. And if each email is going to take you less than 5 minutes to write, you can time block. This is what I would do. I would time block an hour for those emails, and then you can respond to all of these emails within that category or that time block. So a great way to lay out your day is by time blocking your tasks. Take what you have to get done and figure out how many hours I actually have. This is really eye-opening if you haven't done it before, because ultimately we often think that we have way more time than we actually do. We think, oh, I can get so much done. The day is new. I am going to crush it today. And then what happens is we don't. You get 1 or 2 things done. You forget about you had to take the kids to school. You forget that you had a paper due. You forget that you had things to do that maybe weren't on your calendar. Maybe you had forgotten to put them in your calendar. Maybe you forgot to write them in your tasks. That happens, and that is okay. While you're going through your day, one key thing to do is to inbox all of your thoughts. Again, just like we brain dumped at the beginning of the week, anytime you have a thought that's a to-do, instead of putting it on your list for today and continuing to grow that list because you're like, oh, I just thought of this, I have to do it immediately, it's probably not as important as you might think. So write it in a different section somewhere else, or take note of it on your computer somewhere else and inbox that. The other thing you can do is when a task is not going to get done today, draw an arrow through it or do something that signifies I'm going to work on this tomorrow, or it needs to get moved to next week. It is okay to be processing your tasks in a way that means they don't all have to get done today and they might not all get done tomorrow. Again, planning is what we do for clarity. It doesn't always mean that things go to plan. I just want to emphasize this. It's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to be human. It is okay to mess up. It is okay when things don't go according to plan. You just need to have grace for yourself and cut yourself some slack because it's going to be okay. We do this for clarity. We do this for purpose. Now, it doesn't all have to be perfect, and that is okay. So take this, try it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, message me. I want to hear from you, and I can't wait to continue making more in-depth videos for you as we go through what it means to be human, what it means to have more clarity and be present. I'll see you in the next one.